everyone's doing well. Pennsylvania, psych. I'm in Texas. I faked myself out. Live in Texas. Yeah, welcome back. I hope everyone's well. So let me take care of a few housekeeping things on this stream that you can't do on the phone, at least not easy to find on the phone. I fix this very quickly, put it on the correct playlist. It's on the live stream playlist. Okay, and this is also on the news. This is news of the day. We're going to talk about news here. And then I got to check and make sure that there's sound because I never trust these things. So, yeah. All right, there's somebody there. Ron. Cool. All right. Sound is good. Thank you so much for that. Cool beans. Good to see you guys there. Let me go ahead and take care of this. My eyes are really out of whack this morning because I haven't gotten any sleep. So definitely need these specs today. What else we got here? News today. I'm gonna put that in there. Trump, we'll talk about him, of course. We always talk about Trump. ANC, we talk about U.S. news. I think that's good enough for now. Recording date is today, the 6th of February. Wow, it's the 6th of February already. Time just flies, doesn't it? I guess we're having fun. Comments, only subscribers after a week, and sorted by the newest. That never seems to work, though, sort by the newest. Okay, that takes care of it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the program. And let's get into it. We've got some stuff to do today. I've got to do a reconnaissance of the site where the meet and greet will be tomorrow. Also, I've got to link up with Lili Fundiplas today. We'll do that a little bit later on today. And then last couple nights I'm here, I'm going to move to a hotel that's closer to where the refugees are clustered at, so that if they want to meet up, talk, chat, if anyone want to do interviews, we can do that on Sunday, Monday, and even during Tuesday if people have time. So a lot of time to do that sort of thing. So looking forward to that. Excuse me. Anyway, so yeah, you know, today is an interesting day. I'm actually going to be able to do something I rarely get to do. I mean, you know, I search high and low through the media for good news stories in general, but about South Africa in particular, because there's just so many bad news stories constantly coming out of the country. But actually, yeah, they got a free breakfast, but the air conditioning unit still won't shut off. It's still making noise. The curtains will not draw, so the sun comes up in this window and woke me up early this morning, burning my eyes. I was blinded by the light. Thought I was listening to Through It All Night. Blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce. Yeah, I thought it was like, yeah, a good news story. Isn't that gonna be nice, Shawnee? Yeah. So the air conditioner won't shut off. The blinds won't shut. So I woke up facing the east, and I was facing the east. And then I had to put a pillow up in front of my face so I could get a few more minutes of rest. And of course, I haven't used a shower yet, but it still is dripping. I've tried to shut off. But anyway, whatever. Hey, you know, if it weren't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all, right? Things could be far worse. I could be from Bangladesh waiting for a typhoon to wipe out myself and my 23 children. That's just the nature of life, right? So be grateful for what we have and move on from there. All right, folks, good news. Yes, good news for South Africa. I've got at least 3 good news stories in a row. Now, one of them is suspect, and I'll be upfront about that. But 3, why is this not? Sorry, it logged me out of the website. There we go. All right, so I'm going to cover these 3 stories very quickly, and this is just exciting stuff. So Parks Tao apparently has reached a landmark trade deal with China, granting duty-free access to South African agricultural products. Notice it didn't say anything about South African cars, which had duty-free access to America. China's not offering that. And the details are not released. So lots of speculation as to what this means. To me, I suspect it means China will get duty-free access in mass for more goods to come to South Africa. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see what's announced here. But South Africa's reached a framework agreement on trade and investment with China that will provide tariff-free access for many agricultural products, not all. It'll include protection for both countries' sensitivities. And, well, not sure what that means. Parks Tao said the agreement's good news for South Africa's agricultural sector, which has long yearned for access to China. And understandably so, because Chinese imposed 45% or higher tariffs on many South African goods. And while they've been talking about, yeah, now you're going to get Temu even cheaper, it's not going to be special. More junk from China. Greetings. Chris Ehlers says he'll soon be in the States. Really? Chris, you have been moaning and complaining and pissing and bitching and storming around for 3 months now about how you're being ignored, how you're not coming to the States. I don't believe you, man. Chris Ehlers, I'll believe you if you're in America when you're here. All good things come in its time. I've told people that. People don't want to believe that. So now Chris Ehlers, who's been especially frustrated and thought Chris actually is a good person who reached out and paid for passports for people this time last year in March and April when people were complaining they had no money to get who were, oh, I vindicate a lot of German South Africans. You're talking about with my short that I just did. Well, it's true, Garrett. It's true. I mean, people want to play this nonsense like everybody knew exactly what's going on. They don't know what it's like to live in a fascist totalitarian society where news is kept from people. Okay, maybe, okay. Maybe there's another Chris Sailors. We have another Chris Sailors. Well, maybe I'm confused. My apologies if I'm confused. But YouTube keeps messing with the username, so it's hard to see. All right, so South Africa's long aspired to increase exports to China. The two countries aimed to conclude an early harvest agreement. An early harvest agreement. Do you see my email? Snippets, I haven't looked at email. I glanced last night during the program. I haven't looked since then. I'm on the road. It's not the easiest thing to do. So I had to put a do not disturb sign on the door so I could do this broadcast and get some news out for today. My right eye is really driving me nuts here. Even with the glasses on, it's a problem this morning. What the hell's going on here? This is the one that had the torn retina twice. So the retina's not torn, it's just, oh. So let me put these back on. Okay. All right. So immediate gains could be for things like wine and macadamia nuts. South Africa exports to China under 14% to 20% tariffs for wine and macadamia nuts. Whereas wine and macadamia nuts came to America with 0% tariff before Donald Trump said enough of this BS. We have a large volume of products to export, including fruits, wine, grains, and meat products. The statement signals a positive outlook for agriculture. We have a small presence in the Chinese market, accounting for only 0.4% of China's agricultural imports. So they're keen to increase it, said Juan de Silobo, who's chief economist at Ag Biz. So China announced last year it would open free trade with all African countries. So that's good news. South Africa apparently has worked out a trade deal with China that is a predatory, import country that puts prohibitive tariffs on products and has always done so. While the South African economists and politicians are pissing and moaning about Trump's targeting against South Africa with his 30% mean tariffs. China's always had tariffs, oftentimes in excess of 30% on South Africa. And of course, South Africa has no trade, lead trade negotiator, no negotiating team, no ambassador, no people in DC. I got about 7 hours last night, Paul. Thank you. But I just have a sleep deficit I have to overcome. Yeah, so they're not really negotiating in good faith with the United States. So that's just the way things are. Anyway, all right. So yeah, good news. That's a good news story. Now I have another good news story. This one's a shocker. I don't really believe it until I see the actual numbers. But South African Airways claims it made a profit for the second year in a row. Wow. Now the airline, which should have been liquidated years ago and is a albatross, a ring around the neck of the South African taxpayer. South African Airways Group made a net profit of $155 million in the year ended March 31st. And the airline made a $30 million profit for the same period. 30 million. Okay. 30 million rand. That is less than $2 million. That is a momentary fart for Amazon. That is a momentary fart for American Airlines, for Delta, for Southwest, for EasyJet, for anybody. German Wings. That's nothing. Yeah, they made a profit. Yeah. They generated $8.8 billion in revenue, a 36% increase. Of course, they have increased. They had no planes. They went down to almost nothing. Let's compare this to when they had their height of their fleet, how much money they're making now, how much revenue they're generating. Yeah, anyway, their cash and cash equivalents position stood at $1.9 billion at the end of the reporting period. The airline had no interest-bearing borrowings year end and at $6.6 billion in equity. Of course, they've taken well over 100 billion rand, something like that, from the taxpayer and never paid it back in the past 20 years. They've rebuilt their network to 17 routes. In April 2024, they resumed flights to Perth, Australia, then launched international routes to Lubumbashi and Dar es Salaam. That may be true, but I've never seen a South African Airways plane in the air since they went bankrupt. Anyway, the chairperson of the South African board said Zani Maudau said the board was committed to strengthening governance and reinforcing public trust in South African Airways. It would also work to improve audit outcomes and secure the airline's long-term financial sustainability. Transport Minister Barbara Creasy said the government, as a shareholder of South African Airways, would continue to support its stabilization and growth. Going forward, we must ensure disciplined implementation of our approved plans, sound governance, operational performance, and sustainable operating profit. Well, keep the caters and the patronage puppies out of South African Airways, and it might just have a chance. It might just have a chance. So that's good news. China and South Africa reach an undisclosed trade deal, and we'll have to wait to see what the details are, but any deal is probably promising, potentially. So that's the first good news. Second good news is South African Airways, the perennial deficit generator, is turning a profit, according to these folks. Now, here's another good news story on top of a bad news story. The Real Betty just said, hello, Real Betty, thank you for your membership for 7 months. Appreciate that. More than R500,000 have been raised for the family of the cyclist, David Sijobe, the guard who was run over by a motorist. Crowdfunding campaign surpassed his fundraising goal to assist the family. More than R500,000 has been raised to support the family of David Sijobe, the well-known multi-choice front of house security officer who tragically died after being struck by a vehicle while cycling to work last Friday. A Back-A-Buddy crowdfunding campaign, which has shot past its initial target of 20,000 Rand, was launched to assist the grieving family. Initiative started 6 days ago by his colleague Sandra Radebe with other co-workers and members of the community. He was famous for a welcoming wave and radiant smile he offered everyone walking or driving past. He greeted colleagues, visitors, and passers-by with joy, widely admired for his resilience and also for his cycling ability. Yet all proceeds of the campaign will be paid directly to Mr. Jobe and used for the care, well-being, and future needs of the family. And that's important because the breadwinner is no longer with them now, and they're not exactly elderly, so they're going to have to survive. So that $500,000, I don't know how far it'll go, but it'll certainly make a difference in the lives. So all the folks who donated, thank you very much for that. It'd be nice. Did they put the link to the Back-A-Buddy? They did. They did the Back-A-Buddy. Let me take a look at the Back-A-Buddy and see what's going on, what it's up to now. That was when they ran the story, which was a few hours ago. And Back-A-Buddy, as always, is quite slow, waiting for it to show up here. It's 519,000 they've raised from now. Yep. So, congratulations, life well lived. Wishing you eternal peace. You walked out Christ likeness, and I wish you nothing short of eternal peace. Praying for your family that God keeps them and sees them through this period. An anonymous donation, 300 Rand. Wow. People can be very generous when it's necessary. But that's another good news story of sorts there that I wanted to share with you. So it's nice to lead the program with good news, folks. It is nice to lead the program with good news. Not something we get to do all that frequently. So it's hard to find good news stories, like I said. But we found a few, and we'll keep pushing. Right. Let me get up here to... Oh, I want to see the studios, what I want. Hermanus Johannes Elank gave 70 Rand. Get that eye checked out. I don't have care. I don't have coverage for my eye. I'm a retired veteran, subject to recall, and I have no medical care for my eyes or my dental. No dental, no eye care. It all comes out of pocket, and it's not cheap. Now would be a good time to insert ads, is what YouTube is telling me. I'm not going to insert an ad right now. I'll pass on that. All right, but well, that's not a good look. Let me just do this with my mouth closed for a moment. All right, that's a little bit better. All right, I want to see the chat over here. I don't want to see top chat. I want to see everybody in the chat. Who we got in the chat here before we get on with any more news? We've got CBB is here. Mark, welcome to you. Hermanus Johannes Elang. You just gave the super chat. Shawnee Cruz, South African Airways made a profit. Yeah, exactly. Garrett says, not scratch or swipe your eye. Liquid upside down, scrolling. Do not rub. Barbie Bubbles over. Good to see you again there, Barbie. And CBB, Loretta, welcome to you. Johan, Renner, Kotza, Yassine, Eudora, Mark. There's Yassine, okay. And then JJ Pretorius. Did I miss your membership for 4 months? Thank you. Thing of Nouns, Chugsy, Kleinmund. Been around a long, long time. Lana Ritz, did you like the solid blue wall? Solid blue wall. What's solid blue wall? What did I miss, Alana? Lana, what did I miss? Holden Caulfield, welcome to you. Hendo's here. Eudora Prinsloo, Eugene Devet, Elmarie Chisigi. Veroshka is back, and she's not on her way to work, so she might stay with us for a little while. There is Janssen van Rensburg, 55 months. Got off work today early enough to join the chat. Well, that's awesome. It's good to see you, man. The Van Renze, the Janssen van Renze crowd is here. Good to see you again, man. Janssen van Renze. So I love that stuff. Harold Menges, welcome to you. Vilma, hey, Vilma. There's a long time person with us. Who else? Wirebird. Renell, what's going on? Okay. Got MIE sorted. Case workload is stabilizing. Patient surgeons getting good service. Okay. Good to hear that. Not happy campers back. Okay. Thing of Nouns. Get the eye checked out. Thank you, Hermanus. Garrett is here. Okay. Where's Lily? Lily is at work right now. I talked to her a short while ago. We're going to link up after I do my recon. When I finish here, I need to shower in the leaky shower. Then I'm going to go to the, let me see how far I am from, shoot, where's that at? Is anybody, darn, it's on this phone. I don't have the address. Oh, I know. It'll be on my channel. I can find it that way. Hang on a second. That's how I can find it. I'm trying to look at the address. Hey, Debaram, what's going on, man? Okay, I got to get to my channel really quickly here. Your channel. Doesn't let me do it from there. I got to go to my channel. That's weird. Okay, now it should let me go to my channel. Yeah, there we go. My channel. I need to go to the bulletin board and then find what I'm looking for. So that's posts. Okay, come on, posts. Post. There it is. Okay, that's what I need to see is that. Come on, bring it up there. That's on. Abbott's Lane. Okay. Maps. See how far I am from this place. Oh, come on. Slow. Barely hanging on. Well, hang in there. Why is it taking so long with maps? There it goes. It's giving me a weird thing, so it does. Okay. Okay, is this right? Trying to look at the picture here, see if it's the right place. Yeah, that's the right place. Okay, cool. So now, where is that in relation to directions from where I'm at? Well, I choose my starting point. Oh, I am 6 miles away. Oh, that's right down the road. I'm 6 miles to this place, straight shot, and then down this road. Yep. So it'll take me about 15 minutes to get there with the robots. So piece of cake. So yeah, the place is only 15 minutes where I'm currently sitting. So that's I'll go there afterwards. That's what I need to know. Okay, cool. Now I know where it's at. All right, cool beans. Yeah. So for those who are coming, who are down here, refugees and others in this area who want to come, one, I understand transportation is a problem. I really can't handle that. But what you can do is someone who has a credit card can get a rental vehicle, pick up a rental vehicle, and get a big van, and it can't cost you more than $100 for a day. What's not a robot? 37 degrees in 4 ways. Oof, that's too hot for Joburg. Too hot. No, El Marie Mayor, Back a Buddy only takes the cut you authorize. You can set how much they get. That's so. I don't think people realize that. Back a Buddy has a bar. You can choose how much you give them. Yep. But even if they take a cut, so what? Nothing from nothing is nothing. A small percentage from what you get is something. Hermanus 35 ran super chat. Thank you. I've sent you a WhatsApp reference new info on South African USD to get passport. South Africans in the U.S. need to get a passport. They need to go to the South African consular services. Robot versus travel. Oh, it's not a robot. Okay. It's not a Tuma. Yeah, there'll be no notification light rain because this was a short notice on my mobile, not 30 minutes out. Excuse me. Someone says I'm at the blue wall. Damn it. Come on. Yeah, it's from Back a Buddy. Takes a cut. Okay. Blue wall behind the colonel looks like a Home Affairs office. Oh, that blue wall. Okay, that. Okay, it's just the paint. Yeah, it's just the color they put up there. Okay, I know what you're talking about, the blue wall. I didn't even notice it. Ina Bates, welcome to you. Wish you an amazing meet and greet tomorrow. I'll be watching it. It wasn't OP Plus. Have great videos and photos. Hey, Paul. Cool. Thank you. No, I haven't filled up the fridge, guys. I mean, you've gone through your day, but remember, I was on here till what, 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It was after 2 when I went to bed, and I was up by 7. So it's the longest sleep I've had in a while. 2 daughters. Okay, cool. Entertained. Can't wait. We'll be a long drive though, early. Well, thank you for coming. I apologize for that, but this was the best place to do it, Dallas. If you're coming from San Antonio or you're coming from Houston, it's a good 3-4 hour drive. I appreciate that. That's one reason why we set the time at noon local, because then we want to come up. They come up during the morning, be here. We don't want to start at 9 o'clock because then people have to leave at like 4 o'clock in the morning, which is very unfair. 5 o'clock in the morning, because I realize some people come up from Houston and from San Antonio. So I'm not sure where else people might be coming from, but yeah. Find the nearest all-you-can-eat barbecue. No, I haven't filled up my fridge because I haven't had time to go anywhere yet. Wall over your right shoulder. Yep, the blue wall. Got it now. Thank you, Lon. Okay, found it. Boykis Marguerite. Welcome to you, Marguerite. Today in Strach, you and I were the only ones at a meet and greet. Oh, the day, yes. Imagine the trajectory. Yeah, no, but that was kind of a one-off. I mean, that was unusual. We were the only ones at a Strach meet and greet. That's right. We did that one down there at that little restaurant down by the beach. Yep, I remember that. But then the next one we did in Strach, we had 150 people. Yep, it is quite a trajectory. Yep. I wonder what's going on with Lindsey Vaughn. Hopefully she's going to be able to ski. Watched a little bit of the Olympics last night. Put Doctor Who on to fall asleep. And it did. Okay. Heat is killing Corey. I don't doubt that. That's why I'm not there. Ian says, send me a message earlier. What can you do? Okay. You mean message by WhatsApp or email? Who all is going to Texas? Well, I am. And I've sent you WhatsApp reference, new info for South Africans in U.S. needing to get passports. Okay. All right. The chat jumped on me again. Let me get back to it. Trying to treat this kind of like a night owls as well because I don't have my studio here. So I have to kind of jump around here. It's not the robot. It's not the Tuma. WhatsApp. Thank you, Ian. Okay. It's a traffic light, not a robot. It's funny. Will you wait for me? It will take me a couple of years if I start walking now. Well, Mark, no, I won't wait for you in Texas. Are you meeting John B. Wells? Yes, John B. Wells and Brandy Wells will be coming. Yep. My two daughters tomorrow. Whoop, whoop. Can't wait. It will be a long drive. They're up early in the morning tomorrow in order to hit the road. Most definitely get myself a cowboy hat. Okay. I saw a cowboy boot store last night in Dallas. Boy, the traffic here is horrific. It's like Atlanta. Jeez. Some of it's because they're doing construction. Some of it's because people just don't know how to drive. Man, I'll tell you. Oof. The semis, they slide across the lanes. You know, it's like, oh, we're just like cattle drifting on the range. You know, and then there's like concrete Jersey barriers up there because construction, and they nearly hit you. They don't signal. They pull over in front of people. Oh my goodness. Some of the people, the way they drive around here is crazy. Did anybody online also had to go for psychiatric evaluation? Yes, some people do that, and it will cause a delay. That's correct. Greetings to Brendy, says Wilma. Okay. Last time I met you, Chris, was in Langebaan. Okay, Ian. Langebaan was pretty awesome, wasn't it? That was, I didn't know if anybody's going to show up. We had like, I don't know, gosh, how many do we have? 30 people, maybe a few more showed up. Plus, there were people that knew who I was, who were just out there at the restaurant on the beach, came up to me. They didn't even join us. Like, hey, it's Colonel Wyatt. What are you doing here? Well, I have a meet and greet tonight. KZ hitting record highs again. San Antonio is a hot place in the summertime. Around the U.S. hold indirect talks in Oman. That's the other good news. U.S. Military leader in the Mideast for joint peace talks. No updates on Iran. I talked about last night. It was about to start. Like to fly on the roll off that conversation. No kidding. What was the name of the place that you bought your cowboy hat again? No, it's just a local place. It's just a local place. It's a lariat hat. If it's a lariat hat or area, it's an Ariat hat. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not a chain. It's only one small local place. Yeah, Langebaan was pretty awesome, Sean. Iran seized 2 oil tankers. Did they now? Well, they're going to regret that. What's this about disabled kids? I don't see. I hate this when I don't see the first message in the conversation. Somebody references it. Somebody asking a question about disabled children. Yeah, we have. We spend a fortune for disabled children. We spend a fortune on children with autism. We spend a fortune on children with learning disabilities and those with dyslexia. Lots of money is spent on kids with those afflictions, and I'm talking about a lot of money in this country. So if you have a child that's in that circumstances, I wouldn't worry. I mean, first off, are you getting proper care for that child and proper education in South Africa? The odds are pretty slim that they are. And here, the odds are exponentially larger. They will be. What is my opinion of the Freedom Front Plus? Why are you asking that question, Jay? I've talked about the Freedom Front Plus. I've interviewed. Obviously, you must not be watching the program. Why are you asking my opinion of the Freedom Front Plus? What would you like to hear about the Freedom Front Plus? That's what I want to know. Before I answer your question, you need to explain to me what you'd like to know. What's my opinion? Yeah, they did issue an order. Well, the Chinese also issued an order apparently for their citizens to get out of Iran. So they must have some indication something is up. Chinese, that is. So the U.S. has arrested a key suspect in the 2012 Benghazi attack, according to the Department of Justice. 4 Americans were killed in that attack on September 11th, including the ambassador. The U.S. government has apprehended a key suspect in the September 11th, 2012 attack. You know, in the words of Hillary Clinton, what does it matter? Some people died. It matters a lot, Hillary, you slime ball. Yep. I haven't seen new race-based. I know that Ronaldo did a video on it, but he did it. The title made it look like it's new. It's not new. Race-based legislation limiting water rights have been in place for years. We have a rancher on the program that hasn't been able to get access to water for 7 years because of the racism. This isn't new. So did they restrict it even more? Yeah, no, they deny it. I mean, you know, I love how people are on. These are the people on the deck of the Titanic, as the bow begins to rise, and you know the tables slide on by. Oh, there's nothing to see here. No, this is normal. This happens with big waves. It'll just go down. The ship will ride itself, and we'll continue on to New York. Nothing to see here. Just continue on. Enjoy your evening. Listen to the band. Aren't the band lovely? Yes. Yes, yes, please. Oh, sorry. Oh, there goes another table sliding on by. Don't worry about it. Everything is fine here. It's going to be fine. Yes, yes, here on the SS Titanic, also known as the SAS South Africa, as the stern rises into the air and all the tables slide on by. Yes, we are listing hard to starboard. That's right. It's okay. It's simply we're tacking into the wind. That's why we're listing hard to starboard. It's okay here. Yes, I realize it's a cruise ship the size of an aircraft carrier, and it really can't tack into the wind, but let's just go with that analogy. Yes, yes, yes. It's all going to be okay, folks. Don't rush. Don't sell your jewelry. Don't jump into that lifeboat. Look, there's a lifeboat, folks, here. Don't jump in the lifeboat. They're offering a lifeboat to people suffering from racial persecution, but those people aren't suffering from racial persecution. They're just economic migrants. Their backgrounds haven't been vetted. Nobody's checked into them. Well, yes, yes. Let's go back now to our regular programming. Folks, the SAS South Africa has hit a large iceberg in the South Atlantic. People at Lutuli House are busy explaining to the population of South Africa that things are going to be fine. Nothing is happening. These are just people panicking. No reason to panic. No one is singing Kill the Boer. No one is targeting people on farms. No one is denying people employment because they have the wrong skin pigmentation. These are all just fantastical concoctions of extreme right-wing conspiracy. The same people who targeted the innocent Hillary Clinton and are going after her and Barack Obama. It's just a right-wing conspiracy, folks. Nothing is happening. Trust me, it's all going to be okay. And now a word from our sponsor. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Fake news, was it? Juicy said it was fake news. Well, I said I didn't see where it was. I said apparently that's the case. That's why I use that qualifier, apparently. Son with cerebral palsy, unable to work and needs to work therapy. We have applied and gone for fingerprints. Oh, okay, got you, Franz. Franz Smith. That's tough to understand what you. Franz Smith. Yeah, no, that's not going to stop you from coming. I've covered this many, many times. It doesn't matter if you're literate, illiterate. Doesn't matter if you're rich, you're poor. Doesn't matter if you're gay, you're straight. Doesn't matter if you're brown or you're white. It does not matter your political affiliation as long as you haven't committed any crimes. As long as you are eligible, you can come. And physically disabled, 80 years old, doesn't matter. People seem to think that, oh, I can't come over. I'm too old to work. It's not an employment program. It's a refugee program. How's the weather? It's nice. I'm out in shorts. Gorgeous outside. Absolutely gorgeous. Stopped at a traffic circle by the car in front laughing and supporting the protesters. That's funny. All right, so I'm glad I found that message. Okay, good. Okay. Iranian in UK channel 2CTV said Chinese orders fake news a few hours ago, so this time, but said U.S. Iran talks not off to a great start. I don't expect the U.S. Iran talks to go well because the Iranians aren't going to back down. Bitter end went through an EFF gathering. Sorry to hear that. Mark says, the SAS South Africa will not hit an iceberg. It will be stolen before it gets the iceberg. That's a good point. I've been to Dealey Plaza, Holden, and I've taken photographs. I haven't recorded video, but I'll probably go record video. And I may even do a live from there this time. Last time I didn't. It was so hot. Last time it was just brutal standing around, and the damn place was closed. So this time we'll see what happens. Stop the traffic circle, okay? Supporting protesters. Refugee had a video about an hour back. People should stop stressing about the cap. Well, I appreciate that Refugee said that from the moment the cap was announced. I told people to stop worrying about the cap. You know, I've been telling people that all along. Stop. We took 160,000 plus Afghans in the country, which exceeded the entire year's cap. We've not had a cap more than 125,000. We took 165,000 Afghans in a 3-week period because of Joe Biden. The cap means jack shit. It means nothing. It means nothing. They may say it means something, but they simply go past it if they want to. Okay, now I'm not going to pick on you specifically, but I'm going to read this comment from someone. It says, our family were contacted in the USA in December. Any idea when the case will be approved? Did all interviews and medicals at the beginning of October. I'm not sure what the holdup is. And then massive tears. Are you serious? Are you serious? So your case was started in December because that's when you're interviewed, and you're in tears because a few weeks later you haven't got a free ride to America. I'm not trying to pick on you, but seriously, I just last night reported 2 families that did a PRM email in February last year who just arrived in the last 2 days. Really? Wow. People really need a little. You need a little reality. Wow. First off, your contact December. It had to have been before the 15th, I would imagine, because they stopped doing this the 15th. Maybe it was 16th, 17th, it's possible. So you need to eliminate 2 weeks in December and 1 week in January because nobody was working on these issues. Nobody was booking anyone to come out of there because there were no agents available to get you in and out. So that's 3 weeks. So basically, it is now the 6th of February, 1 week in February, and 3 weeks in January. You've waited 1 month. 1 month. How long have you been waiting on your South African driver's license renewal? How long have you been waiting for a birth certificate from Home Affairs, a passport? You waited 1 month in a program with tens of thousands of people. Some people need a reality check. You really, really need a reality check. Your expectations are ludicrous. Also, I don't know when you applied, so that may or may not appear to be part of your case, but it sounds like you put your statement in long after other people. Oh, the ankle's fine. Yeah, the ankle's fine. Like I said, I took the fall. And I didn't get any real major scrapes, but still, it was a little disconcerting. Applied November 15th, the whole process approved today. Okay, all right, thank you. Winners do not complain. I like that. Okay. There's nothing to sink. The ship has been stolen. My son surprised his fiance with cowboy boots when he visited South Africa for the holidays. I think he said he bought it in Texarkana. Cool. It's finally happening for me, Colonel. Your mojo took a while to get to me, but it did. Well, that's good, Janine. Congratulations. Let me know when you're here. Just on my way to fetch my son. A decent affluent area, not expecting anything funny. Okay. Oh, with the EFF. Apparently, it's a very important word to keep in mind. Yep. Right. It is. Like I look, when somebody told me about it, I didn't even see the report. Someone said it last night, and I just reported it said, and I said apparently. I haven't seen anything about the Chinese doing it. Yeah. So that's why I said apparently. People hear what they want to hear, though. AV says hi, Alex in Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Baby, if you've ever wonder whatever became of me. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP. Got tired. Anyway, up and down the dial. Maybe you and me once in a while at WKRP in Cincinnati. You know, Cincinnati's named after Cincinnatus. Did you guys know that? A Latin name, a Roman name, Cincinnati. Yeah, Cincinnati's all right. So not my favorite cup of tea, but it's all right. Welcome. And I assume you've arrived in America recently, so welcome to America if that's appropriate. Okay. And how come you're not doing an interview? Your expectations should be minimum 18 months. Hey, Matthew. Again, you have not been waiting since applying. Your wait starts only after the US. Exactly right, Fisigi. Les Nessman. Yeah, no, Grok Matrix. That's definitely memories, man. Gary Sandy. Yep. Lonnie Anderson just passed away. Yep. REO Speedwagon. Yep. Wow, that's cool. Let me just report the latest super chat. Huh? Oh, you want to report Matthew Dixon? Quite a few little concerned as they have been waiting since October interviews. Okay. PRM in February, statement just May, interview in October, still in South Africa, just have to wait a return. Mr. and Miss Smith. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, that is definitely a blast from the past. Les Nussman. Dr. Johnny Fever, he also passed away. He's gone. Gary Sandy's still around though. But yeah. Herb, who was the advertising guy. What a show. Statement by South African survivor. Okay, well, you can put that in there, but there's nothing there because you're not allowed to put that stuff in there. Tarek, only moderators and the content creator can put links into chat. Found myself sitting in a fountain in Cincinnati, was baffled, and I felt like I'd been there before. Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, one day I want to go to Minneapolis and toss my beret into the air. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's a great theme song. I love that song. Let's risk a copyright here on this. Who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each step and every little movement, you show it. Love is all around. No. Mary Tyler Moore, man. Some good stuff. Mary Tyler Moore, man. You might just make it after all. BJ Thomas recorded that song. I don't know if that's him performing it, but yeah. Mary Tyler Moore. Won a bunch of Emmys during its 7-year run. Outstanding comedy 3 times. Yep. And Mary Tyler Moore's named for that 3 times too. Outstanding lead actress in a comedy series. Placed 6th on the list of 101 best written TV shows of all time. Supporting cast was top notch, and 3 of them will continue their own roles and spinoffs. Love is All Around. That was sung by Sonny Curtis here, but BJ Thomas also recorded it. Love is All Around. Yep. Yep. What a great show. What a great theme song too. Wow. Morning Show got 101,000 for a video about will the United States invade South Africa? Well, that's a ludicrous premise. Why in the world? I should make a video like that. Or I should make a clickbait video just to see what happens. I should make a clickbait video. I mean, we see the obvious shadow banning taking place. The doctor that does the medical is telling people with high blood pressure they're going to be declined. That's untrue. That's a lie. Why would somebody do that? That's a lie. Kurt Darren, the little Calfoot Soaking. I didn't really care for the Good Morning Vietnam movie. It was okay. Been here since 2022. Yeah, okay. Oh, in Cincinnati. Okay, got you. So you're not a refugee. Cool. Oceans apart, but the 80s is what unites all our age. You are spot on, Rudolph. The 80s was brilliant, but that's the 70s we're talking about there. Mary Tyler Moore, 1970 to 70, 77, 78. Yep. And then Rhoda was spun off from that. What else? Lou Grant arguably spun off of that. Ed Asner's show. Is he still alive? Is Ed Asner still around? If he is, he's cranky as all get out. I think he might have passed recently. Let me see. Yeah, he passed away in 2021. Yeah. He was 91. He was a cranky old bastard, but a hell of an actor. Ed Asner was a hell of an actor. He was really good. Yep. Played Lou Grant and Mary Tyler Moore and the Lou Grant series. Yeah, so he was on TV from 1970 to 82 with one series after another. Yep. Won 7 primetime Emmys, the most of any male performer. 5 were him portraying Lou Grant, 3 a supporting actor and Mary Tyler Moore, and then he also won 2 for Rich Man, Poor Man and for Roots. Yep. Yep. He was married twice with 4 kids. Yep. He was also president of Screen Actors Guild from 81 to 85. Quite a storied career. Served the Army Signal Corps from 51 to 53 during the Korean War. Yep. But he wasn't in Korea. Yep. Ed Asner. Just proof that we come and go, folks. We come and go. Make the most of your time on this planet. He's married to Nancy Lou Sykes from 59 to 88. They had 3 children, twins, Matthew and Liza. And Kate, 87, he had a son named Charles Carol Jean Fogelman. Yeah, he was a parent, grandparent to autistic children and was involved in the Autism Speaks 501c. Died of natural causes in his home in Tarzana. It's a neighborhood of Los Angeles. Age of 91. Buried in Missouri. Yep. Ed Asner. Where was he born? New York? Let me see. Oh, he's from Missouri. That's why. He was born in Kansas City, Missouri. Yep. Ed Asner. Yep. He's Jewish, like so many of these actors in Hollywood. Yep. Ashkenazi Jews from Lithuania and Ukraine. Yep. Yeah, boy. That's Ed Asner. Wow. Cheers in Cincinnati. No, Cheers was Boston. Cheers was Boston. Received a call from RSC today, and they have sent me documents I must upload. I have virtual pre-screen interview Monday, but they have not supplied me the case number. Well, if they gave you a link, then your case number will probably be on the link. Okay. We're 70s, 80s music, but 90s were more my time, says James. Okay. All right. Cool beans. Cool beans. Yeah, the 80s when TV was TV and music was the best. Yeah, the 80s, the best decade ever. The best decade ever. That's one of the songs, yep, that I got put together here. Oh, I need to load. That reminds me, I need to put all that stuff on that thumb drive for tomorrow. Okay, so Colonel make clickbait videos, only 5 years behind. Yeah, no, Matthew, I haven't making any clickbait videos. I'll make a clickbait video about the U.S. invading South Africa. Yeah, you get your case number after your interview, exactly. Okay. I remember WK, but Married with Children. Yeah, Married with Children was late 80s and then 90s show, and not my cup of tea. It was funny at times. Christina Applegate was dead sexy on that show to begin with. She's such a brilliant actress and a bubblehead. She played so well. John Brown received a call. Okay, I already saw that. What else? Ian says we're getting old. No, you're getting old. I just resemble that comment. Yeah. No, Cheers is based in Boston. Frasier is based in Seattle. Happy Days is based in Milwaukee. Laverne and Shirley is based in Milwaukee. Full House is based in San Francisco. And Friends is based in New York. You know, these are just some of the different sitcoms and where they're at. Talking about music, I have a song stuck in my head since yesterday. I'm not going to even look and see what song it is. I don't want it stuck in my head. How's your hip? It was hurting last night, Mark, but it's doing okay today. Yeah, no, the clickbait won't be the U.S. invasion of South Africa. I mean, Professor G's done a video on that. Now I see that Morning Shot did a video on it for 100,000 views. I have no idea what the videos are. I'm just going to, yeah. Too young during the 80s. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to make a video, and it's nothing to do with this channel. It's just that it's it won't be clickbait, but I mean, obviously, someone's saying it is the U.S. invasion of South Africa. Yeah. You're as old as all your experience in life, and as young as your naughtiest thoughts. That's interesting. Yaku V. Gates, enjoy the Dallas meet and greet. I hope they bestow a Stetson on you. Wouldn't that be cool? If there's no upload button on the website, you may not be on the right website. Apparently, there's an upload button on the website now. I can't get into it, so I don't know. Balky Bartokimus. Yeah, Balky Bartokimus. That was in Wisconsin. That was based there. What was that show called? Yeah, that was, he was the actor in the original Beverly Hills Cop where he made Sag. He was in the last one they just did too. He came back in that role. It's so funny. Yeah, good actor. Email the documents and reply. Okay. Perfect Strangers. Thank you, Holden. Wow, you guys remember these shows. Yep. Perfect Strangers. Yep. Airwolf. Where do you think 2026 will take South Africa? Snippets. So the person I asked they asked me to talk about the Freedom Front Plus. They never came back. See, that's a dead ringer for people trying to steal content. Not that that person was. I'm not saying that person was, but it's a dead ringer for people trying to steal content. Hence my cautiousness. Yeah. So we're hundreds in Texas. 251 refugees were here as of January 31st in Texas. Yeah, but that's a dead giveaway that somebody's trying to get you to say something so they can take a snippet and use your content against you. Again, not that that person was doing that, but that's, God bless it. Shirt starting to itch me on the back there. Just a dead giveaway for that. So, all right. Very late, but here says just another girl. Okay, well, welcome to you. All right. Yeah, so that's why I'm a little cautious of things like that. What's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? I state these opinions very often, and I give my analysis of these things. I've talked about Freedom Front Plus many, many times. I've had Corney Mulder on the program for many, many times. I've had Peter Kernevall on the program. I've had other Freedom Front Plus members on the program. And no, not Ronaldo. I'm not counting him. He's just recent. Pre-screen, at least we're starting to move forward, okay? But if we look at the trajectory, let's see what happens in February. Now, remember that November, so it might not be that they're increasing. It's just that it appears to be increasing because we're dealing with limited time frames. October 0, because the government was shut down, so nobody came. November the first flight was on the 17th, and the month ends on the 30th. So that's 13 days. So 13 days, 137 people. Then in December, in December, it was 591, but 591 was from December 1st to December 16th or 17th. So that was 2 weeks as well. January, which was a full month, wasn't double that. It was 951. So yeah, anyway, not quite 1,000 for January. I thought we'd have a little bit more based on the numbers that were coming out. Whatever the case is, 3 of them were also Afghans that came over. So it was 548, I think was the total, something like that, 1,648. Yeah, South Africans came over in January, and the fiscal year, I should say, the fiscal year. So you take that 1,600 that have already been here, 650 that's already here, add the 350 or so that came before, it takes you to just around 2,000 South Africans in 1 year. That is not a pace that the Trump administration is happy with. That's too slow in their mind. They expect this program to pick it up. So I don't know if the pace is increasing. It looks like it is, but also could be the time frame. So February will be the test. As long as the Homeland Security doesn't shut down after the 2-week extension, February will be the test of how many people are coming over, whether it's actually increasing the numbers. Because you can look at the numbers, it says October 0, November 137, December 591, something like that. And January, 591, and January 951. So that looks like a big increase. But again, we're looking with prescribed time frames. 0 days of travel in October, 13 days, 14 days in November, 15 days in December, and 24 days in January. So it might just be a matter of the days increasing. February will have, is it 31 days this year, or 30 days this year? Is it a longer February? We'll find out. Chego's deal was the best that could be achieved. It seems he's living. What? Gray man got an approval letter. Okay, but don't get too excited. It doesn't mean you're leaving 2 to 4 weeks. Just be prepared. You panned Hee Haw as a kid, not your older. Some amazing musicians. Yeah, there were some really talented people on that show. MacGyver. Excuse me. Who didn't want to buy American rice? Oh, yeah, MASH. I watched MASH as a kid, but I'm not really a big fan of the show after the fact. It's such a politically oriented show. 16 December space is also an issue. We were only 19 families on our side. Well, the issue, muy nui, after that date is there weren't U.S. agents available to handle you because most went on holiday. It's Christmas Exodus. Mad Max wants to call me. I got to get in the shower. Is it urgent? See a man about a horse. Well, thank you for that, Deflairmless. That's a bit too much information, but thank you for sharing that. Any ideas about resettling in Texas? No. Texas is not my ideal place to be, so no ideas. We'll have to talk to people in Texas about that. I cannot see a hill for 50 kilometers. I can see 40, 50 kilometers from here. Nothing is taller than a house. It's not my cup of tea. I need hills and mountains, valleys and creeks, rivers and lakes, over the hills and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Yeah. Okay, Max. Falcon Crest. Yeah, I remember those. I don't know what arson lupin is. I have no idea what that is. No idea what that is. But we started the show with some good news today. But hey, another one of the green fantasy things costing private firms a fortune, Stellantis, which is the successor to Fiat and includes Chrysler and a whole bunch of other brands. What the hell's going on there? My foot looks kind of weird. Stellantis is just taking a $6 billion EV hit. Yep, it's on top of the one that Ford just took. Stellantis CEO Antonio Filosa said the charges stem from an overestimating the pace of energy transition, misreading consumer demand. Yes, because you fell for the political narrative that we're all going to have electric cars, which are shit. They don't work for well at all in cold weather. Stellantis announced it will take 2.2 billion euros. Whoa, that's much worse. $26 billion in charge after overestimating the pace of electric vehicle transition. How do you do that? How do you make such a stupid mistake? As the Jeep and Chrysler plant apparent resets its strategy to focus more heavily on hybrids. Hybrids were always the answer. I got no problem with a hybrid. You generate electricity when you're moving and use gasoline when you're stopped. That makes sense. The move announced February 6th company statement comes as the company grapples with uneven consumer demand for battery EVs. General Motors said in January would take a $7.1 billion special charge. Ford in December said it would take a $19 billion. So these morons, by signing up for this green energy fantasy, we're talking $26 billion plus $7 billion. That's $33 billion plus 19.5, 43, $53.6 billion. The top three car manufacturers in America. $53.6 billion in losses. What a bunch of morons. That's why I don't own car stocks. I don't own car stocks. This is exactly why. This is why, folks. This is why. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Stupid people should wear signs. Stupid people should wear signs. Don't like flat plains. Give me the hills, mountains, rivers, and lakes. Exactly, Loretta. Yeah, flat ground is for speeding tickets. Well, in America, there is lots of garbage. You would think that America was Nigerian. Nollywood ran America's film studios. Every show is headlined by a black actor, whether they have talent or not, or a gay actor, whether they have talent or not, or anything that's not a white male, and oftentimes not even a white female, unless she's a lesbian or she has a black girlfriend. Yeah, the shows are unwatchable. They're turgid. Black people pretending to be white people. It's sad. The Hollywood and the Madison Avenue erasing of the majority population of this country are pretty pathetic. What's my thoughts on Missouri? Not my cup of tea. It's all right. It's a big state. Got some lovely areas. Back is itching here. Something to scratch my back there. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of hard to say. What's my thoughts on Missouri? I mean, I don't like California, but there's parts of California amazing. General statement. I mean, you really can't ask a question like that. What's your view of Missouri? And it's Missouri. I wouldn't live in St. Louis, that's for damn sure. East St. Louis, which is in Illinois, I wouldn't live in. Go where they sent me, but I lived in Rustenburg for a while. I was out of sorts, kind of depressed. The mountains, if there's no ocean. Well, Rustenburg has mountains, tiny little hills, actually. Mahalicesburg are there. It's bad enough when purchasing a vehicle that loses half its value, pulls out a lot. Yep. Duet says, we waste of talent if I don't come to South Africa to farm. Well, I've been a farmer. I'm certainly not going to be a dairy farmer in South Africa, not with John Steenhuisen's foot and mouth. Can we start calling it that? Can we officially call it John Steenhuisen's foot and mouth disease? Can we? I mean, is that fair at this point? I mean, he ignored it for so long. You break it, you bought it. Is that applicable here? John Steenhuisen's foot and mouth. Can I say that? Or is that just mean? Exactly. Hard to generalize about states when they're larger than European countries. It's fair. Yep. Yep. Mahalicesburg. Yeah, I love Mahalicesburg. I've done zip lining in Mahalicesburg. I've done quad bike riding. I've done horseback riding. Yep. Yeah, 100% fair, people are saying. Okay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the latest news from South Africa and John Steenhuisen foot and mouth disease, a complicated affliction that affects cloven-hooved animals, particularly livestock. The John Steenhuisen foot and mouth disease is the greatest agricultural crisis in recent South African history. We go now live to a farmer in Northwest Province. Ek is gatvol van Steenhuisen. Yep. Yep. Oh, it's been deemed a provincial crisis. Yay. What about Veldrift? What do you want me to say about Veldrift? What do you want me to say, Petra? You're scratching your back. I made a smile, but back scratch to reach where my arms can't reach. And our son says, bring Utani, our white agriculture minister, and our super skilled defense minister. Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to disrespect them. Apparently, Steve hasn't got approval. Go ahead. Something in that line, produce vaccines locally. Yes. Break dancer. He's a private dancer. He's a private dancer. Oh, my goodness. Anyway. So TSA is rolling out a plan to help the people who don't have real ID. This is a requirement that was passed 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago, you're required to have real ID with biometric data in it, but they don't do that. So passengers can pay a $45 fee at the airport and get verified if you don't have real ID. Transportation and Security Administration successfully implemented TSA Confirm ID, which offers airline passengers without real ID documentation an alternative method to get verified for flights. They notified the public last month that passengers without real ID or other acceptable form of identification could verify their data using Confirm ID beginning February 1st. 99% of travelers are traveling with real IDs or other acceptable forms. But as I told you guys before, my driver's license is not real ID. I didn't pay $100 to renew my driver's license. I paid $25. There was no need. I have a passport, which is real ID, and I have a military ID, which is real ID. Yep. The rest of the passengers have an option to use TSA Confirm by paying $45 for a 10-day travel period. Yep. The Real ID Act passed in 2005 and enacted recommendations made by the 9/11 Commission. Came into full enforcement May last year after 2 decades. Can you believe that? 2 decades. We wait for this crap. Do I think the Safe America Act will be passed? I don't know. It's really controversial. Shouldn't be. Should be passed, but it's very controversial. We'll have to see. I haven't taken a look at who's for and against it yet. John is so useless and what a horrible, painful disease for those poor animals. Yep, it is, Max. It is terrible. I don't understand disease because it kills off so many of the cattle. How does it propagate? No shoes, no jacket, empty pockets of fly, security strip tease. Well, if you're TSA pre or global entry, you don't have to strip tease. You don't have to strip tease. Ow, I just caught my toenail. That hurt. That hurt. Anyway, all right, where are we at here? We're up to almost an hour on this broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I need to look at something else here. Go back to my studio. Finally went over 500, 122,500. Yeah, 122,500. Finally hit that. That was crazy. Took a long time to get there. It's something else. So let me see this video. This video died. It was going well, and just well, it's still going, but not very much. Yep. So anyway, the one I did last night. This one here, how's it doing? Nothing great. My shorts were doing really well, but suddenly shorts, are they not being promoted anymore? I don't know what's going on there. All my numbers are down. My views are down. My watch time is steady. Revenue is down. Yep. Okay, what is that message? All right, cool. All right, so yeah, just want to take a look at where we're at on this stream. It says we've had, I can't see it on the screen. I won't go farther. Let me go this way. 1,400 people tuned in for this so far. Thank you for that. 1,400 people that have tuned in for this. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah, so the TSA is going to make a workaround, folks. Oh, the U.S. ambassador to Poland has cut ties with the Speaker of the Polish Parliament. U.S. ambassador to Poland, Tom Rose, said Volodymyr Zarzalski made outrageous insults against President Trump. The United States has cut ties with the Speaker of the lower house of Polish Parliament following unprovoked insults against President Trump and U.S. ambassador to Poland. Effective immediately, we'll have no further dealings, contacts, or communications with Marshal of the Siem Zarzalski, whose outrageous, unprovoked insults directed against President Trump has made himself a serious impediment to our excellent relations with Prime Minister Tusk. Didn't specify what the nature of the insults were. Wow, that's interesting. So Poland's a close ally of the U.S., but their speaker is pissing us off. U.S. and Iran holding talks in Oman over Iran's nuclear ambitions. We'll see what happens. Waiting for news of that. A Chinese hospital ship is visiting Latin America. They claim it has military objectives. Could very well be the case. We send our hospital ship on humanitarian missions, but people could also accuse the same thing. They'd be wrong. But they've made a port call on January 20th in Montevideo in Uruguay. January 8th, they were in Rio de Janeiro for a 7-day visit. And December 20th, they were in Barbados for a 7-day visit. On December 4th, they were in Jamaica for a 4-day visit. Nicaragua was November 10th. Before that, they were in Nuka Afoa in Tonga. And before that, they were in Fiji at Suva. Before that, Nauru in September. And then they started on September 5th. September until now, they're traveling throughout the Pacific Rim and Latin America into the Atlantic with a Chinese hospital ship. What are they up to? What are they up to? I don't think Poland's being bellicose. I think the speaker in their house is being bellicose. I don't think that Poland as a government is doing that. Getting rid of these windows here I don't need because I've covered these stories. Yeah, the Benghazi suspect. Let's get back to that. The individual was apprehended, transferred overnight into custody early this morning in an airfield. Yep. Landed at Andrews Air Force Base at 3 o'clock in the morning today. 4 Americans were killed in that 2012 Benghazi attack, including Ambassador Christopher Stevens, State Department police Sean Smith, CIA contractors Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Yep. And my friend was the security cooperation officer, and he was just in Benghazi like a day or two before that when that happened. Yeah, it's horrible. A pardoned January 6er is pleading guilty to threats against Hakeem Jeffries. Why would you threaten Hakeem Jeffries? He's such an idiot. Nobody pays attention to him. Christopher Moynihan pled guilty to harassment charge in relation to threats against Hakeem Jeffries. The 35-year-old pled guilty to misdemeanor harassment charge in a hearing in Clinton, New York, and will be sentenced in April. Threats against elected officials are not political speech. They are criminal acts that strike at the heart of our public safety and our democratic system, said Dutchess County District Attorney Anthony Parisi. And you are correct, sir. That is correct. A threat against an elected official is unwarranted. Of course, Hakeem Jeffries lied in his February 5th message. He said ICE is out of control and has gone too far. Trump administration should focus on violent felons who are here illegally, which is what they're doing. Instead, they're targeting American citizens, law-abiding immigrant families. That's a lie. That's a lie. Hakeem Jeffries is a lying sack of shit. But he can get away with lying because he's a public official. Yep. Nothing. He won't be held to account for that. Now, Moynihan got, in February 2023, a 21-month sentence in prison for obstructing an official proceeding. It's among 1,590 people charged with storming the Capitol. Of course, they didn't storm. They almost all of them walked in the building. So stop lying, News 24. And of course, Hakeem Jeffries lied. 5 years ago, a violent mob brutally attacked the U.S. Capitol. Their mission was to overturn a free and fair election. That's not true. You're just a lying sack of shit, Hakeem Jeffries. It's not what happened. I have video evidence of what happened that day, and you're a liar. So Cockprot24 says the White House published a website attempt to rewrite that history, labeling the riots peaceful, patriotic protests, accusing police of provoking the violent clashes. No, the vast majority of people there were peaceful protesters. The police allowed people in the building, and a small handful of people broke in on the south side of the building. The building wasn't defaced. It wasn't burned. Historical property wasn't destroyed. People walked around the building, and for that, they're trespassing, which technically they weren't trespassing when they were led to the building. They were treated as insurrectionists. The insurrectionists are actually in Minneapolis and were in Seattle in the summer of 2020. So Hakeem Jeffries and News 24, Cockprot24 are nothing but bullshit artists, both of them. South Africa rolls out first locally made foot and mouth disease vaccines in 20 years. Yep. Oh, Johnny boy. Oh, Johnny, holding up vaccines. Department of Agriculture distributing 12,900 locally made foot and mouth disease vaccines. The first batch marked from Humansdorp, where more than 2,000 cattle are infected. This marks South Africa's first foot and mouth disease vaccine production in 20 years. The aim of vaccine sovereignty and foot and mouth disease free status. Additional vaccines from global sources, including Dolvet and BVI, will bolster efforts to combat disease. That's less than 2 million doses. You have 14 million cattle. Department of Agriculture is ready to distribute these. Speaking on Friday, Agriculture Minister John C. Dyson said it was the first time South Africa produced a vaccine in 20 years. It's not been a short journey to get here. It's been a long journey, but we've arrived now at the point. Well, we don't even know the efficacy of these vaccines. Do they even work? Do we even know if they work? We'll see. Yeah, so Johnny's going to focus on agriculture. Our bank is gone. Eastern Cape farmers devastated after lightning claims cattle. 11 cattle belonging to small-scale farmers died after being struck by lightning in Kaguba village in Port St. John's. Farmers describe lightning as their bank and primary investment. livestock is their primary investment, with one farmer losing 6 cows. Jeez. Costa Customs prohibits eating lightning struck cattle, forcing farmers seeking this. So why can't you eat lightning struck cattle? They're cooked. Well, that's sad for them. That's sad for them. All right, now let me address something from last night, okay? So I want to get to this early, but I didn't get to it. So how many we got in the audience right now? 300? 357 of you here. Okay, so last night someone came on and said that a content creator had made a video in which they claimed that someone that I had interviewed had received death threats. The obvious implication being that somehow people's personal lives, their safety wasn't being considered, but that's an absolute lie. Once again, for all the cockprodders and the Freiers, the Lügners and the Trügners out there, I could have scored 1 million views easily on the refugee interview, maybe even more, and became famous and made a ton of money from advertising revenue if I had run the video of Thea von Straten the hour after I had done the interview on the Saturday before they left. If I had done that. They were supposed to leave on Sunday, they leave on Sunday, left on Monday, and they got here on Tuesday, if I remember correctly. I could have easily done that. But in abundance of caution, until I had 2 independent verifications that plane had landed at Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C., I refused to run the video. And people who know about this knew this at the time, and they know that I did that. And you can go look and see when the video is published. So there's the proof. So paramount, I've always taken people's safety paramount. That's number one. Number two, after watching episode 5 of Belofteland last night, which I appear, and yes, I appear in a pretty good light there, but I didn't get much airtime, but that's fine. It wasn't about me. Both the airtime in that episode was devoted to the Hartzenberg and the Langton family, and they were brilliant, absolutely brilliant in their comments and their statements. And I love what they had to say. It was well said. So not a single person I've ever interviewed, 30 families, has ever approached me, said they received death threats as a consequence of the interview. However, in episode 5, what happens is that they talk about the security and the events that unfolded at Kempton Park, where there were death threats because someone had been interviewed. But it wasn't a YouTuber that interviewed anybody. That's a lie from this other content creator, whoever it is that's putting this lie out there. I haven't seen the video. I don't want to see it. I'm not getting in a pissing contest with people who are defaming me and lying about me. But the bottom line here is that that is a consequence of someone talking to, most likely, News 24, who betrayed their presence. Didn't run a story until late, but they betrayed their presence. And that's where the death threats came from. There are people in South African media who are actively trying to harm people who are involved in this program. And they've been doing it for a long time. And you see this with the behavior of News 24 when it comes to Twatterboss and to publishing a list of people who interacted with Twatterboss in an effort to have them targeted by people. That isn't responsible journalism. That's irresponsible journalism. It's not journalism, it's sensationalism. But many actors like this are doing this in South Africa. So a South African journalist interviewed somebody amongst the original 59ers or someone very close to the case. They disclosed where they were at, and that's why there were death threats against them. My interview didn't run until after Atlanta States, and nobody that's come to States has made any step forward, made any claim that their life has been threatened. So this is bullshit, and I'm so sick of bullshit from lying Freiers. And if they keep their bullshit up, it's just a matter of time before they get a phone call from a district attorney or, a civil lawsuit, because I'm tired of it. Came across very fair, unbiased, and made your point. Thank you very much, Just Another Girl. Yeah, but I was hoping for more airtime. Also, there's a lot that went on there that was claimed in that video that wasn't quite accurate. But that's fine. That's fine. The biggest of which is how they convinced the Hartenbergs to come on channel. No. The Hartenbergs did the video because I convinced them it was a good thing to do. That's why they did it. Also, I like the way that they framed, so how did you first hear about the program? Now, both the Langtons and the Hartzenbergs, I could be mistaken, maybe wrong Langtons, but I know the Hartzenbergs, the first time I heard about the program first time I heard about the refugee program was by watching my show. That's when I first heard about it and learned about it. But that's not what Belofteland led you to believe. Belofteland led you to believe that they heard it from, just some innocuous source, which wasn't the case, but whatever. It's close enough. The message, that's important message that the Hartzenbergs and Langtons need to get across, got across, and that's what matters. And I think that I stated things pretty accurately. So anyway. Also, clarification, in that video, another person stated that persecution is, the physical attacks on people. Yes, it is, but it's not the only form of persecution. And that wasn't addressed when that person made comments. So let me make it very clear. Persecution can include a range of different things. It means you're being denied. It means you're being prevented. It means you're being attacked. It means you're being excluded. It means all those things. It can come from physical assault, and from murders, rapes. It can come from dispossession of property. It can come from debanking. It can come from being excluded from acquire. It can come from being excluded by employment. All those things are persecution. So persecution is not simply a physical attack. That's a very important thing to understand. Also, they brought an attorney on who was okay, but he convoluted the situation. He mixed the whole story up, and it was obvious that he's a leftist, and that he cares more about bringing people in this country than he does about the security of this country. So that attorney that they brought on conflated asylum and refugee status in a way that confused the audience. I get it because I understand the law distinction, but that wasn't helpful. I don't think he needed to be included in that segment. That was unhelpful. But the rest of the people in that segment, Shelley Hepburn being in there, the Langtons being in there, the Hudsonbegs being in there, and those were good additions. But I found it a bit annoying that they went back and brought all of the Afrikaner and colored elites from the first episode back into that episode. I didn't think that was appropriate at all. Unrelated. They didn't take any of these people and put them in the first episode. They keep giving airtime to Heinrich and to Flip Weiss and to what's his name there? Anyway, Crew Comp, whatever. They all keep coming back, and it's I don't look at those people as subject matter experts on this issue. None of them are subject matter experts. They're just offering their opinions about the refugee program. Not one of those people, and the gentleman whom I helped get the interview obviously doesn't like the refugee program, but he didn't dump on it, which is good. Me too. I was sitting there like that's all 30 seconds, and every time they said they convinced the refugees to speak to them, I was like, nope, we know who made it happen. Exactly right. They didn't convince anybody. That's just dishonest. But whatever. You tell a story, and so this should be an object lesson to people. Okay, an object lesson to people. What you see on camera and what you hear on camera, you can't always take for the God's honest truth or the full story. So I knew this all along. I've done Hollywood before. I've appeared in movies before, more than one movie. Been in documentaries and movies before, and I've also been involved with the news in the past. And the way things are presented isn't always the way things are. So yeah, they didn't convince the refugees. And yes, an hour before they were supposed to go visit someone, their interview was canceled. They traveled all the way out to see someone in part of America. It's because their employer didn't want anything to do with this anymore. Yeah, your opinion fits the narrative. Quite predictable. But there was a good episode. It's a good episode. For those who are objective, they will get the truth out of that episode, which is what matters. We support you. The cards are falling in South Africa. They are, Vaymire. They're falling. Truth is out there. Yeah, you have an opinion about engineering, but you're not an engineer, says Max. Oh, I'm not linking anybody to that video. I'm not going to promote someone spreading lies about my channel. Again, and I put the challenge out there. If you are one of the 30 families that I've interviewed, which no one else in the world has done, if you're one of them, I've devoted a lot of my time and personal energy to this, and you feel you've been threatened by someone, I encourage you to contact me privately. Obviously, I won't tell people on air that it's happened to you, but unless you want me to. But yeah, so let's get the truth out there, okay? Well, Charles Boyson, I have explained this repeatedly, and I did a video on it. I guess you didn't watch my video. See, this is the frustrating thing for me. People don't watch my videos. So the one-year extension for AGOA is not an extension. It's a new law. So calling an extension, extending the timeline, if you want to call it that, but the media wants to call it an extension. AGOA is dead. So this resurrects AGOA and makes it retroactive to 30 September or to 1 October, which in effect means that it never really lapsed. But what are you going to do? Refund the tariffs that Cameroon and that Ghana have paid on their goods to America dating back to October 1st? I don't think it's going to happen. So I think the only reason they made it retroactive is to show no break in this generous duty-free access. However, every country must be certified and approved to be on the list. South Africa is already on the list, but South Africa legally is not entitled to be in AGOA. They violate the tenets of AGOA. They're ineligible based on the fact that they don't respect the property rights and a host of other things, not to mention all the things South Africa does contrary to U.S. national security or national interest. South Africa is not even remotely qualified to be in AGOA. They're currently in AGOA, but it's very likely that they'll be excluded. If John Kennedy has his way, yep. If Ronnie Jackson has his way, at this point, I think even Marco Rubio would have his way. I mean, leaving them in there just doesn't make any sense. It sucks for South Africans, and that might be the reason why they do it, so South Africans don't suffer. But the bottom line here is that even with the AGOAs in place, it won't change the 25% tariffs on automobiles. That's been the most devastating impact on South Africa. 40,000 jobs in that sector apparently evaporated within 3 weeks or a month after the tariffs went into effect. In August, by the end of September, 40,000, manufacturing jobs in the automobile sector supposedly had been evaporated. That's not my data. That came from the South African government after they denied it was happening. So that 25% tariff remains in effect. That's not tied to the unilateral tariffs. President Trump put a 25% tariff on all imported automobiles in America. So that applies. So South Africa lost its artificial, 2% advantage. It's gone. What's another propaganda South African media? What does that mean? Hi, Tornado. Yeah, exact expropriation without compensation makes them ineligible for AGOA. Ron says we all have lives as well, work and need to take care of kids. We can't stop our lives to watch videos. Yes, Ron Mankeys, I understand that, but again, and I don't expect everybody to watch all my videos, but my point is that I made a video about it. People ask me, make a video about this, make a video about that, and I do it. And then I make the video about it, and then within 24 hours of making a video, people come in and ask questions, which I've just explained in the video. It takes a lot of time to make a video, do the analysis. So Ron, I don't expect you to watch everything. Some people watch everything. That's insane. I make a lot of videos because a lot's happening in the world. So you don't have to watch any of my videos. But I appreciate if you would have understanding that when I mentioned that people aren't watching my videos, that I went to trouble to make a video. Okay? I don't just answer questions during live streams. Yeah. So thank you, Ron. I appreciate where you come from. I don't expect to watch. I'm amazed if people watch as much as they do. What is this? I'm amazed people, yeah, Matthew Dixon, amazed people watch as many videos. The problem I'm having is not with my audience watching the videos, it's with the audience growing. The audience is not growing at a rate it should grow. If we had 500,000 viewers, then we'd have habitually over 100,000 views all the time on videos, and that would be fantastic. We had a bunch of 100,000 view videos for several months. Oh, South Africa media always lie to the masses. Yes, I think you're right about that. So Ron, that's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm coming from, yeah. So our farmers watch live videos this week. John Cena's just done an X post, okay? Yeah, no, Charles. AGOA, South Africa's not eligible for AGOA, and it hasn't been technically since 2018, but we've allowed them to stay in it. Even allowed them to stay in it despite the behavior of the president in the Oval Office last year when he visited President Trump and lied to him. Mr. President, have they told you where this is? I've never seen this before. Yeah. Well, good if they're going to the U.S. and if they're watching, because this isn't a refugee channel. This is a news, culture, language, politics, agriculture, beekeeping, everything under the sun. We do it all. Never, Andres watched every video. Cool. Thank you so much for that. All right, Ingrid, you got to go. Shadow banning is real. Yep. I'm going to get, what is this? I'm going to get the biggest bumper sticker stating YouTube channel. Okay, Max. You had a bri. Okay, cool. I try to cover comments. What does Katrin want? Did she put even at Colonel Chris Wyatt? I don't see any Katrin here. I'm looking. Oh, new to live chats. I started typing. By the time I'm done, topic has changed. Should have taken typing in school. Yeah. Well, we have rapid machine gun fire stuff here, Katrin. Welcome to the channel. But you're a member, okay? No, Mark, I think that Ruan actually does watch a lot of my videos. Just trying to make a point, which is a fair point. Yep. Okay. All right. Tornado, great movie. I don't remember that. Okay, I've got to wrap up so I can get a shower and go do the recon of the site. And then when I'm done the recon of the site, I will meet up with Lily Funded Plus and then make plans for later today. Okay. Never watched news until I started watching your channel, Colonel. Now I'm catching up to the news. That's awesome, Leon and Mari. How's it going? I'm glad, and I appreciate it. So again, my news is analysis. It's not just reporting the news; it's analysis. Best way to spend a Friday night in WKRP team. I think it will be fitting having a show at Dealey Plaza, seeing that we're entering this new Cold War. Holden, I think it's right, and I will. I've got plenty of time to go to Dealey Plaza, and I do plan to go there and do a live broadcast. Yep. All right. So there'll be shorts coming out. I'll probably do one from the venue, just so people get a quick preview. And then tomorrow is a big day. Today is the day before Snippets. Please read email from Snippets. Okay, is it from Snippets specifically? I'll do it right now before I go, okay? Let me see, Snippets. I'll read it out loud and embarrass you. No, I'm just kidding. Snippets. Nope. All right, let's see. Nothing's happening. Okay. Last email I have for someone called Snippets is November 9th, 2025. Nope, I don't have an email from Snippets. I do have something for someone who's a healthcare assistant, and for some reason when I type in Snippets, this comes up, but Snippets does not come up. No email. No email. So nothing there. Let me look at my spam folder. Spam. There's 47 messages in my spam folder. I found one that's not spam. Okay. Here's another one. Another one. Okay. There's a few that are here. Mostly spam. What's this one? Yeah, a lot of spam here, but another one that's not spam. Yeah, so at least enough, if nothing else, you're forcing me to look at my spam to see maybe some people. There's a lot of people's messages wind up in a spam folder that's not spam. That's interesting. There's another one. Wow. There's another. Wow, there's a lot of here. Okay, so I'm gonna have to apologize if people have been sending me messages. There's another. Wow, there are several. Why are their messages going to spam folder? I mean, they've never sent me a bunch of messages, so I'm just double make sure. Most of these are spam. Just double checking. Okay, I think that takes care of it, but there's no Snippets. You need to send me an email right this minute and put Snippets in the title, because there's no Snippets, or forward the one you sent before, because I have nothing here. Now I don't know. The problem is the ones I just fixed, I don't know which ones they are, because I took them out of the spam folder and put them back in the main one. So, all right, well, I'll have to try looking email today. I'll go to a Starbucks or something later today and just go through email. Maybe I should do a live stream where I'm answering emails. Maybe that's, what do you guys think about that? Should I do a live stream where I just answer emails but not disclose people's personal information? What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, well, it could be why. Yeah, link they put in there. What do you guys think about that? I just sit down in a Starbucks and I just answer emails. Oh, you guys like that, huh? Okay, well, that'll be later today. And a lot of you will be in bed because it'll be late because I'm 8 hours behind South Africa, but you can watch it later on. All right. Yes, please. Wow, look at that. That's overwhelming. The Colonel answers your mail. It's post office time. Okay, there you go. The Colonel's inbox. And we have a new segment, the Colonel's inbox. Wow. Wow. All right, we just created a new segment called the Colonel's inbox. Look at that. Wow. Well, I had a great idea. It just came to me. The Colonel's inbox. Wow. Cool beans. All right, we'll do that later today. Yeah, I'll read the spam aloud. I'll read all the Nigerian Prince emails. Yeah, anyway. All right. Well, that's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to do the Colonel's inbox. How's that? Cool beans. All right, cool. Now, I won't disclose people's personal information. I'll scan through it and make sure I exclude things, okay? All right, and I won't say who it's from, okay? But if you're watching, you should know it's your email, okay? Yep, the Colonel's inbox. Yep, all righty. Cool beans. All right, that's going to do it here, folks. Be sure to hit the like button. How many likes have we got, by the way? We're doing well on that. Let's take a look and see the stats. This doesn't tell me any likes. That's not what I'm looking for. Where's my studio? There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Settings, okay? We got 375 likes and a little bit of super chat revenue. Okay, it's time to wrap it up here, folks. I'll see you later on. There'll be shorts coming out, plus the Colonel's inbox come out later today. All right, we can make a weekly one at least. All right, cheers, everybody. Well, that'll help me get through my email stuff because it takes a lot of time.